then, at the same time, decided to seek approval under the, that was then possible under the Hollywood sign district to have super graphics. We asked for an exception to have super graphics on all 4 sides of the building, considering the challenges of converting and revitalizing the building at this corner and the benefits that that would have to the overall Hollywood district. We managed to get that approval passed through by around 2005. All the other minor approvals and reconciliations of lot line adjustments and everything were done. And we started construction. What we did is we basically stripped the entire building back to the steel, leaving only the elevator system. The building was wrapped and to contain the asbestos while that was being abated, and we proceeded with design and finalizing design with Cantor Architects. It's really a wonderful tribute to Steve Cantor. You see the design from inside out and sort of recognition of modernism that is unique to what Steve was about. The way the plans then evolved was the sign panels were an extrusion from the building, in addition to the building. And they added square footage to all of the units below. You're standing, when you're out on the balcony here, you're standing on the top of one of the 4 signs. On the other side, there's a similar balcony. And then on the other 2 sides, they're not accessible. But they basically do not form any kind of, if you walked into one of the units, you would not even know a sign is there. The light's cut off, it's a solid wall, it's a natural room or a bedroom, closet, bathroom, take shape. You wouldn't even think about it. So what do you have? We ended up with a building that has 3 very interesting forms of income. One is 64 residential units in a format that can never be duplicated in most any other building. 4 units per floor, every unit a corner unit. Even the corner units have close to 180-degree views, whether it's on the 2nd floor or all the way up to the 16th floor. Then from 16 to 20, we have 2 units per floor that are basically like this unit. Only 17 has the balcony. And all the floors from 2 all the way up have 13-foot floor to ceiling glazing. All of them have this continuous curtain wall environment and the Mecco shades that can be pulled down to deal with light, and if you care about privacy up in the air here. So it's a unique residential product. The challenge is how do you rent? What's the pricing? We did map the building for condominiums and have that option of a conversion, but it is proving to be quite successful and quite valuable on a rental basis. We expect probably through the end of 2012 on the next, as things roll, to average close to $4 a foot effective rent from 2nd floor to the 20th, which is not comparable really just about anywhere. There's a couple buildings in downtown that are pushing into that area. But again, it's Sunset and Vine, 2 blocks from the metro, in a dense urbanized area with just about every form of dining, entertainment, live theater, live action on the streets that you could want. It's probably one of the most walkable neighborhoods in the city, and represents what you would consider a premier location to live if you like her. It's that's quite remarkable as well, beyond what we expected. So it's a very successful product from that basis. There's parking underneath. It is allocated one basically one per bedroom to the residents, and that's secured. And then there's where some of you park, there's or the valet handles the parking for the restaurants and visitors. Oh, thank you. We now are through 2011. We reached, except for the 20th floor, which we had held off the market for a while and are now completing the units up there. We had reached virtually full occupancy. We've been through some rollover. We're probably around 87%, 64 units, and we're holding off units because of the construction on the 20th floor, which will be finished in February. So basically, you're looking at a building that is proven very successful. And it's not unique in Hollywood. The Legacy project that you're looking at out the window is 270 units. Beautiful complex in terms of the common areas, the amenities of the project. More standard as to apartment layout and large apartment complex characteristics. I think they came out effectively around 270.
Yes.
In their first. We were leasing up at about the same time. So you have this very interesting dynamic of Bond's project, which was the first mixed-use residential project at the corner, the Legacy project, and this one. And we were having to distinguish, why would you rent here as opposed to renting there and at a lot less. And what we really had to do was to seek out and identify this building as a separate lifestyle and a separate market altogether, which was very successfully done. I want to just quickly, many of you now have met Megan Benoit, and Megan is the manager of this building and 4 other of our residential properties in Hollywood. And she and her team provide a concierge, a full service to the residents. This is a building where if you want to be, if you're you want some privacy, you want service, you get it. And that's part of making a building like this successful. It's proven to us that this area is very strong. We're active in BID down here as well, and we recently purchased the Sunset Gordon project, which will be another 22-story tower starting construction this year, 4 blocks down Sunset. So CIM's interest and commitment to Hollywood and understanding of its continuous value is demonstrated by that activity. Happy to answer questions. Let me also introduce Andrew Kim, who is the investment analyst and who's knowledgeable about, and I might turn to Andrew or Megan on any of the, some of the stats or any of the stats that anybody has questions on. There are, this CIM is a full service company. The vision of the project is, it can only be said to be Shaul Kuva's drive and vision to go after it and to take the risks and to imagine the kind of product that we could get to. Ryan, I want to just a name. It's just a name to you, but Ryan Harder, who was one of our development managers who'd been with the company since earlier, started probably around 2001, 2002. This was his project. He had to live with this all the way through, and he just got pulled away to go work on a 70-story tower in New York. So he's not here to really take credit for having delivered the building. Anyway, happy to answer questions.
Quick question. You mentioned you've got a property 4 blocks further east. Do you see Hollywood development moving in that direction as opposed to potentially south towards kind of the Larchmont Hancock Park area?
The community plan, it kind of, the density cuts off just kind of at Sunset. There's a desire to preserve a lot of the post-production and the little neighborhood pockets that go south of Sunset.
Right.
There's a lot of intent to continue higher density development that's already been approved in many locations as you go east of Vine, on both Hollywood and on Sunset.
Is there a natural stopping point along that eastward progression?
No, I think I don't think there's a natural stopping point in terms of, other than density will probably, values and density may vary as you go east.
Yeah.
We're involved, as Richard Solaris is who designed the building under construction at Hollywood Western. We are invested in all 3 stations in Hollywood. We expect this will be a receptacle for growth, for many years. Just as almost a coincidence of our overall business model is that when you look across over 100 properties that we have and manage under this fund, I think arguably 95% of the properties are within walking distance of transit, if not literally on top of it. And the funny thing is for those who would say, well, okay, did you consider that in your acquisition and in your investment analysis? It is not, we did not quantify it. It's not heavily written up when you read the investment analysis. But there's no question that transit and this kind of opportunity go together. And so it's almost implicit.
2 questions. What kind of amenities do you have in the building itself relative to, I didn't know if you had a pool or anything else like that?
We have, we opened the building and leased it up, about 60% leased before we got started building a pool and a pool deck, which is accessed off the lobby. It's a beautiful closed pool lounge area that we put a glass wall across fine so that it's very isolated from everything around it. We have a small gym and mezzanine floor, and nice people in the lobby.
What is your tenant demographic?
You want to take a shot at that?
It's obviously we don't keep exact demographics on the properties. However, I will give you an assessment. When I first moved into the building and started working here, it was, I think every resident with the exception of 3 was a very successful, hipster, behind the scenes, gay man. And that was our demographic. It has definitely evolved a little bit. I think there's a lot of truth in people buy the person who's selling the product. And, gay men think my shoes are fabulous. Other people like me as well, so that's helpful, I think. And so it's definitely broadened and it's expanded. It is still a heavily male demographic, successful in production or writing or editing or the directing side of entertainment. We do have a few celebrities that have lived in the building, some that still do, some that have been here and moved on. But it is a very interesting thing to see that it is predominantly male. I think in the entire building we have about 4 women, including myself, who rent here alone. And other than that, there are some women from couples and things like that. But it's a great building. Everyone's very nice, very successful, and very hip and up and coming. No one's living here that is wishing they lived in 1923. It's not happening. They go frequent bodega, and it's that person who's 45 and can associate with somebody who's 26 like their best friends. They have some kind of something in common, and I think that's what the entertainment industry does to people. When you're a lawyer and you're 60, you really don't want to talk to a lawyer that's 25. But, when you get into other industries, it does equal up. So.
Right there.